Greetings, fellow armchair matineers. Jacob Weil here, and welcome to a brand new game, Disney KO. And this is a spin-off of the regular Disney Debates format, where these three fine contestants right here, compete in various scenarios to pick their Disney characters and who would win in various situations. And whoever doesn't win gets knocked out. All right. In this corner, we have the reigning champion of Disney Debates, the one and only Blue Dragon 5.
Heyo.
It's funny because after Dragon kind of took over hosting Disney Debates, it's been all over the place with the records.
Yes, pretty much.
Who's won what?
And the man that just spoke, the one and only Tiki.
I am like down. I'm here to take you all down. Just straight up. I'm going to destroy you. Not even joking.
And last but not least, he's nothing but skin and bones. Give it up for Sandy Claus.
Look at him go!
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's skin and bones because it's Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
I'm not that skinny.
I know. It's also referencing your for icon, the bones. The
skeleton. Yes. Ezra, the icon.
Yes. All right. Welcome to. How you guys doing tonight?
Ready to kick some ass?
Okay. You always say that, and then you don't. Sit in the corner and cry.
That's the spirit, but that's the spirit, guys. In this game, it's very different than the usual kind of Disney debates we have. The goal here is I present these three with a certain scenario, and they're told to pick Disney characters, and basically a battle royale to figure out who would win in a particular situation. In round one, we have our contestants were told to pick a hero and a villain from different franchises and who would win in a battle royale.
Oh yeah.
And to reiterate, there's supposed to be a hero and villain from different franchises, and they're supposed to work together to beat the other team.
And importantly, Jacob, you also should mention that this is a spin-off of Disney Debates because we did an epic tag team question that went on for like an hour. And it was like, okay, this might be too long to do, within a Disney debate, but this would be a great spin-off. So,
and that's how the show was born.
Yes. I did, and while I'm giving credit, I did to thank Dragon for helping me flesh out that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He helped me flesh out the idea and get it running, and so thank you for that, Dragon.
Yeah, it's been a lot. We've been working at this for about a month and a half. I think it's been a while.
Yeah, but it's finally ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know the rules. Introduce your champions.
I'm sorry. Should we have some sort of like random.org order or anything, or does it matter?
Well, we're all going to be fighting simultaneously.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do random, considering it's going to basically a free for all.
Yeah, it's like the fight it out section, so we don't need.
Right. Gotcha. Just wanted to be sure.
We didn't have free for all when we did it on the debate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my two challengers that I am sending into the ring is for the villain side of things. I am sending in Jafar, Sorcerer Jafar. Yes, because they wouldn't let me use Genie Jafar, unfortunately. And for my for my hero, I am going to be using the King of Cool, Frozone.
Yeah. Ezra, Sandy, your picks?
I went with Captain Hook and Abu. I'm just kidding. I went with Gaston and Stitch.
Sandy, do you mind turning your webcam on?
Oh, sure. Okay.
And Dragon, your picks?
Yes, my picks. Some favorites here. I went very Pixar with my picks. I have from a villain, I got Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Heck yeah.
And for my hero, I have Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. That means the fictional Buzz Lightyear, mainly the Buzz Lightyear Star Command TV show, as well as the opening video game from Toy Story 2, but again, primarily Star Command as in not the toy. Okay.
Yeah, the character, not the toy.
Yes.
Okay. Now the rules are simple. The rules are simple, guys. You will talk for as long as necessary, and if you guys need a lifeline, we can probably get. I can give you guys at least like one idea or something to help you with your argument. It might not be necessary, but also be sure to use it wisely because you can only do it once.
Okay.
Yeah. You only use. And also be sure not to. Also be sure. I'm trying to figure out how to word this here. Like, be sure not to reiterate your points too much because it could end up hindering your argument. And in the case of Sandy, do not have your teammates kill each other.
Look at him go!
I'm sorry, Jay. What was the first part before the Sandy gag?
All right. Well, as I talk about you guys, if you guys can only once per round ask me like for like a suggestion or something like that to see if I can help you with your argument.
My existence on these game shows is nothing but one big gag.
You do good.
I do good, but I never win.
To quote Stewie from the Good Era family, you're doing good.
Hopefully that can all change today. Probably not. Anyways.
Let's see. Just remember to bring your A game.
Leftovers.
Remember to bring your A game, guys.
Yep.
And simple, one less simple rule. Whoever makes the weakest argument or forfeits gets knocked out. And the two remaining.
Can we just make a rule just so we can avoid the ridiculousness from last time? If someone literally kills their character, they're just out.
Yeah, that's actually gonna go say that.
Okay. Seriously, that just should never happen.
Considering you guys as characters, you can't just say like my character killed yours.
Okay, fair enough. I understand.
You know, because that'd be too easy. I mean, it's basically a battle for survival, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, we can say like kind of what they do to defeat them, and if that would it's your call, like if that would kill them or not, right?
Basically, like imagine like your characters are knocking each other out, and you guys are trying to knock each other out as well. All right, and whoever makes the weakest argument, or forfeits, or kills their own character, is knocked out, and the two remaining move on to the next round.
Okay, so I think it's clear what needs to happen in this fight for my people to succeed. Jafar needs to kill Frozone and use his bot. I'm totally kidding.
All right.
All right.
You guys ready?
I'm totally ready, yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, nice. We got sound effects. Okay. All right, so guys, I used an ice character last time. I'm using an ice character this time. I just think in a KO sort of situation, Frozone is a lot better equipped than Elsa would be. So I've kind of learned my lesson here. Frozone is literally the Silver Surfer with ice. So he's very mobile. He can go, like, it's hard to catch him because he's just surfing on the ice. He can create ice barriers. And he's Samuel Jackson, so you just don't want to kill him.
Oh yeah, please.
I don't know. I just think Frozone. Of course, Frozone's a superhero, which means he's an expert when it comes to combat. He's had years and years, arguably decades of experience when it comes to combat. I would say that out of all these picks, even someone like Buzz Lightyear, I think Frozone has the edge over Buzz Lightyear because, like I said, just based purely on experience. Buzz Lightyear might be a Star Commander, whatever, but Frozone is
Space Ranger.
Frozone he's a veteran here. He's the guy who's been around the block, and yet he's still in his prime. He's still got it. He's still got all those ice powers. So he's got years and years and years of experience, plus a whole set of powers, plus the, it's just Frozone's a complete package.
Okay, but explain how you'd work well with your villain pick.
Okay, so Jafar, with Jafar, I kind of went with the Maleficent thing, right? Like, I went with a shapeshifter. So Frozone is going to be the agility in this fight. He's going to be the one who's basically going to be on the defensive, where, it'll be hard to catch him. He can create the ice barriers. You know, he can literally like just surf around him and Jafar to make this ice barrier for them. You know, he's a good defense player. Jafar is a really, really good offensive player because Jafar has got the whole sorcerer thing down. And so he can literally just turn you into a kitty cat. I mean, that's part of his power range. He can totally just, you know, he can trap you in an hourglass. He can turn into a giant snake. And I'm definitely going to be using that giant snake a lot in the fight because that giant snake's going to be difficult to take down.
You're right, T, but there's one thing you do need to understand about Jafar's power set, just so you know. It's all pun reliant.
It's all what? Pun reliant?
Reliant. His powers work. Basically, in the movie, everything he transformed or he worked was always worked through a pun. It's like his ego linking up with the magic. Because he says, like, oh, I hope you see the point, and then all the swords come down. He says, you're
Let's
out
see
of
how
time.
snake-like I can be.
Magic works through puns. I'm just saying you should know that.
All right, I get that, but Jafar, he's, you know, on top of being just a cunning guy, and also, importantly, Jafar is going to be an expert strategist when it comes to this fight, which is important because, like I said, I think Frozone is good on the defensive and pretty good on the offensive as well, but Jafar is going to have this great combination of these awesome power sets and just the cunning mindset to make it happen, you know? It's like Jafar and Frozone, they can hold themselves off in this ice barricade they make for themselves and just plot and just come out with the best way to take the opponents out.
All right, now that Tiki's explained himself, how about one of you guys? How about you other guys explain yourselves? Then after you guys, maybe we should have done this first. Like you guys explain yourselves and then get into the fight. Sorry, folks, it's a work in progress.
Maybe a random.org actually would have been helpful after all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll do that. We'll do that next round.
For sure.
Sandy?
Okay.
Look at him go.
What?
I said, look at him go.
Anyways, Gaston kind of speaks for himself. You know, he's a big, muscly guy. Does he have a sword in the movie? I forget.
He has a dagger.
He has a knife. Yeah, dagger and musket. That's what
Dagger and a musket.
Oh, and bow and arrow. And bow and arrow.
Yeah, dagger, a musket, and bow and arrow. So why not just throw a sword in there too? So yeah, you know, he has his bow and.
You can't just throw in weapons that he doesn't have.
Okay, he has his bow and arrow, his musket, and his dagger.
Wait, hold on, Jacob. What'd you say?
I'm saying you basically have to use what stay as canon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of this fight is to, you know, go off the canon stuff.
Okay. So he has his dagger, his musket, and his bow and arrow.
Uh-huh. I think he has a crossbow, right?
No, it's like he literally he has a bow and arrow because he shoots the beast with the bow and arrow. He just, you know, lines up the shot and everything. Okay, go on.
Okay.
Exactly. Frozone is human, so he can just shoot Frozone in the face, and Frozone is dead. Dead. Samuel Jackson dead.
Wait, hold on. Didn't Jacob specifically say that, like, he can't, like, you can't just say that he killed someone?
But he's literally shooting him with his bow and arrow. I can't go into much more detail.
I also said explain your team.
But we're announcing kind of like what the team up would be, would work, and maybe some reasons behind it. I don't know. Maybe.
I think Gaston and Stitch would work wonderfully together because, you know, you have Gaston, who's kind of the muscle, and Stitch, well, he's not exactly, you know, super genius smart. He is very crafty. He's very cunning. He knows how to sneak his way around things. He stole a spaceship and basically escaped to Earth in the movie. So escaping all of that, crafting his way out of all those different situations. He has his guns, you know, his little laser pistols, which, you know, come in handy quite often. And a vault of other various weapons. And, of course, his spaceship, which I don't know if that would count or not in this fight.
I would say for the sake of fairness, it counts.
Yeah, all right.
The red one, yeah. The red one, yeah, the red one does count.
Yeah.
But also, saying to specify, yours is the early, you know, the beginning of the movie Stitch in the orange outfit, you know, the criminal Stitch.
Yeah, yes. This is not, you know, Lilo, you know, friendly, happy Stitch.
So technically not a villain still.
He's not really good or bad. He's just kind of a little monster.
Well, so yeah, he still works.
Yeah. As I was saying, Gaston is more like the muscle, and Stitch is more of the brains. So, you have Stitch, he can crawl up your arms and bite you all over the place, and Gaston can punch you in the face and take you down. What?
Nothing.
Okay, well, I'm that's about it.
Okay,
All right.
Dragon.
Okay, Buzz and Syndrome. So, boy, oh boy. So, basically, with this pairing, you have strong abilities, you get a good skill set, you have a great number of a great amount of experience, especially on Buzz. Syndrome and Buzz, because Syndrome, of course, has killed a lot of super people, a lot of supers, and Buzz, of course, years he went from rookie to literally writing the book, writing the Space Ranger Handbook, at least half the rules and regulations, and you can go to Buzz Lightyear, the adventure begins from the first, the first pilot movie, if you want a verification on it. So the point is, Buzz has experience I think could rival Syndrome's. Not only rival Syndrome's, also rival Frozen's.
Sure.
They complement each other. That's the reason I paired these two guys. That they really complement each other. I think best out of all the picks, because Syndrome has been looking for guidance. He's been looking for a mentor. Buzz, again, we know this from the show and everything else. Buzz probably at the time when Buddy Pine was turned down by Mr. Incredible, rather callously, but again, Mr. Incredible didn't really have hindsight back then. Buzz, there's a good chance Buzz would have taken men at the very least, steered him into the Space Rangers, get straightened out and kind of be put in line as a more productive member of society. Again, take that enthusiastic kid and kind of turn him into actually full-fledged Space Ranger. Basically,
hold on. I need clarification on something on Dragon.
Yeah.
If Buzz takes young Buddy Pine under his wing, then young Buddy Pine does become Syndrome.
No, I'm not. I'm saying if he had taken. I'm saying what if in the Mr. Incredible choice, Mr. Incredible didn't take him. I'm not saying I'm not rewriting history here.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify that.
Sure. Well, basically, I'm saying that he'd be like Buzz is taken for Booster and the other rookies from the Buzz Lightyear Star Command. I'm saying he could do that with with Syndrome, and basically even the now current Syndrome, he could guide him in a way that might be playing into Syndrome, kind of looking for that mentor, and he finally found it in Buzz Lightyear. I mean, Buzz Lightyear's been paired with Warp Dark Matter, his partner turned bad guy, and they work together effectively. So I think history will show that Buzz can work with anyone, and Syndrome at the same time is kind of looking for that mentor figure, basically a version of Mr. Incredible that would have had faith in him, which I think, again, because of that, I think they could really feed into each other. Buzz with the experience, kind of providing the strategy and kind of guiding Syndrome's great potential. Kind of harness and directs Syndrome's potential. It's kind of almost this is kind of a weird comparison. Though. Imagine if you a Captain America meets Justin Hammer type vibe. You have your brilliant inventor in Syndrome, because again, all the stuff in Incredibles, all the weapons, everything on that island, Syndrome developed that. And again, has been effective in killing a lot of superheroes, a lot of very much powered people. Developed the Omnidroid. Importantly, developed zero-point energy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He's
of course brought the cars. In turn, created the Pixar theory in universe. Because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I literally have everything Buzz has just listed out here. So I guess I'll give a quick rundown. So Buzz Lightyear's suit, of course, is made of beryllium carbonic alloy. It's kind of a space suit that's it can take a blast. I mean, short of an energy vampire, it can do pretty. It's pretty substantial. Let's see. His jetpack is powered by crystallic fusion. That's going to be an important detail. He has a wrist laser with multiple settings, which include kill, stun, thought, and blast. He has, and in the show, it's been shown that he has a collapsible blaster kept within his suit. Behind the Star Command logo, he actually has a collapsible blaster, which essentially imagine a sawed-up plasma bazooka thing. Sawed off, though, which is just a little blaster that's collapsible on his person. So, and he's also very proficient with any other weapon as well. That's a blaster, a space kind of shooty weapon. He has an anti-gravity belt from Toy Story 2. He's got grappling cables in his jetpack, and when the wings come out, grappling cables come out from the bottom part. He's taken out various lethal combatants, Zergbots, aliens, duplicates, giant bugs, crater vipers, which essentially are space snakes in the moon. He's very adaptable in battle. In Syndrome, he's got gauntlets with multiple functions, including that contain explosives, controls. And am I allowed Omnidroids in this fight? I'm just asking. So I mean, I can adjust strategy. So I mean, if we have the car, can we have maybe not like a full size. We could have like a few mini Omnidroids.
I'm doing show.
I could, I'll make a miniature Omnidroid, like a few Omnidroids. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, I want to go, I want to go big as like the end of Incredibles with the Omnidroids, being just, some maybe a little bit of artificial backup.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, that would work.
We see that again. He upgrades. He upgrades a lot. He's constantly upgrading. Hence, like all the various versions of the Omnidroid. He's got the rocket boots. He also, I'm gonna work this into it. That he also has the because this is how he defeated Mr. Incredible for the second time. He had the goo balls. The goo balls that shoot from the cannon. They inflate. So I'm going to go with kind of somewhat of a miracle exception because again, it's kind of unclear where we're pulling Syndrome from here. If like somehow like he quote unquote survived the end of Incredibles and then he's there joining us for this fight or not. I guess I'll leave that to Jacob to decide upon. I'm saying like, what if he worked?
This is like all non-canon stuff. So I mean, Gaston didn't survive his fall.
Exactly.
To quote the Uncle Grandpa crossover of Steven Universe, "Don't worry, kid. None of this is canon."
Right. So basically, I'm saying he has the goo ball weapons. Maybe he has like a little bit of Omnidroid plating underneath the suit, just a little bit, just like for protection, kind of like a bulletproof thing. And let's see, also, he's upgraded things slightly. Like he may or may not have a cape anymore.
Wait. Hold on.
No. He has to have.
You can't change the characters out. I can have a sword.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
okay,
he has to have a cape. That's
I was throwing it out there to get a ruling from Jacob, and okay, I will admit it.
Hold on. You're still changing the suit?
No, I'm saying underneath the suit, he has maybe some Omnidroid play. I'm throwing out there's a maybe.
Wait. Okay, so
how can I not have a sword?
It has to be as canon as possible, so I'm nixing the Omnidroid armor.
All right.
Okay, fine. We'll nix the Omnidroid armor. Okay, but I will fight for the goo balls. He did develop those weapons.
I'll allow the little Omnidroids, but the Omnidroid armor, remember, the only thing that can pierce it is itself, so that'd be basically too OP.
I'm okay with the goo balls. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that works because he actually did use that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so all right, just basically any upgrade. Okay, just to the gauntlets then. Okay, just only upgrades to the gauntlets, and he has mini Omnidroids. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm saying that's kind of me listening at all kind of my main things with my guys here. Again, effective team, very much so. All right.
Okay, so I think by far I'm sorry, Jacob. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say all right, now that you guys have announced your champions and how they plan to work together, you guys ready to knock each other out?
All right, I think by far the easiest person to kill in this fight is going to be Gaston because Gaston is the least powered of everyone. He's just a normal guy. He's a strong guy. He's probably by far the most physically capable of anyone in his town, and he's a town hero for that. But he is just a guy. A musket and a dagger is not going to take out any of these characters. It's just not. I think Gaston is the first one down in this fight. I really do. He has practically no defense against someone like the Snake Jafar or Frozone. He's got no defense. He's got the musket. A musket is a musket's not first of all with the musket, it's an outdated firearm, so it's not even you're gonna it's an outdated firearm, so it's not even gonna cause that much damage. As far as Stitch goes, Stitch is gonna be tricky to kill because he jumps around a lot, right?
And because of the fact that it's just hard to kill him in general. I mean, you can have a truck run over him; he's still gonna live.
But I think his small size his small size is a positive when it comes to the stealth and when it comes to the defense. I do not think it's a positive when it comes to a physical confrontation because he can get run over by a truck and survive, but can he be eaten by a snake and survive? Can he literally survive a snake's ingestive system and survive? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, Stitch is pretty powerful. He probably bust his way out of the snake's stomach from the inside out.
But if he even started doing that, though, Jafar would simply shapeshift into something else. Because, you see, Jafar has the ultimate sort of, built-in defense mechanism of, if you're starting to damage him in one form, he can just turn into another form. All he has to do is make some sort of lame pun. You know, he could be
But
he could be like, man, this fight is seeming to fly by, and then he'll like turn into a giant bird or something. I mean, if that's really the logic we're going on.
Well,
then
to be fair, Jafar is vulnerable in that snake-like state because if Aladdin was able to stab him and he was in trouble. But then again, he wrapped Aladdin around, so Aladdin was then helpless. So
I understand that, and like I said, when he does, you know, when he is in the snake-like form, and he does kind of like the snake-like form is meant more for offense, right? It's meant to just be like kind of a big sort of like boss, like. Yeah. But the snake-like form, as Sandy said, it's not perfect for everything, and that's why Sorcerer Jafar is so versatile. Is that he can use his powers and use his different abilities to, you know, to shapeshift around and basically avoid any sort of damage that Stitch is going to throw at him. Also, one of the big things that Jafar has going for him that none of the other people in this fight do is the ability to mind control. Yes, I will admit, yeah, sure, if someone takes his serpent staff and breaks it like Aladdin did, then yeah, sure, he wouldn't have that power anymore. But if he hypnotizes you before you even realize what he's doing, then you're not even going to get the chance to even realize what's happening to you.
Two things to hit with the staff. One, all these sorcerer powers are directed through the staff, so that's important with how his powers work. So again, that's. I mean, I'm not counting the proto thing because I mean, well, I guess if you want to count it, you can. But also, just the way saying when he becomes the sorcerer in the movie, the powers are still sorted through the staff. So the staff is still key to his power because we don't see him really doing anything without that staff because he becomes the staff essentially in the snake form. That's kind of what's suggested.
And that is exactly why I have Frozone as the assist, because I feel like Frozone would be the perfect person to defend the staff if it needs defending. It'd basically be like a really well synced up pair of basketball players, like passing the ball back and forth.
And I'm gonna argue something with that right off the bat. Is that I think the reason I think my bond, my team's stronger in terms of bond than the rest of you. I think Frozen Jafar would instantly hit it off on the wrong foot because again, Jafar is gonna all these puns. Frozen has no patience for these puns because Frozen he's just he's like and he starts monologuing. He hates monologuing. He hates guy literally broke out into the song to like Phil like say Prince Ali, yes it is he, but not as you know him. I mean, again, like that would get under Syndrome's Frozone's skin.
Look, I never said it was going to be like an easy partnership or anything. I just think in terms of the abilities, they are very well synced up. And if it's a fight for survival, like if Frozone has his life on the line, he's gonna get past some minor skirmishes. Like those what you pointed out, Dragon, they're pet peeves. And if you're in the line of battle, like, do you think the guys from Saving Private Ryan were deterred by pet peeves? Like, no.
Jafar is not really a team guy. I'm just saying from the get-go.
Yeah, what he's saying is just monologuing like that is just bad teamwork because you're just distracting. And one more thing, when he's saying he can eat Stitch and then turn into something else. Like if he were to be a snake and eat Stitch and then turn into a human, that would practically kill him because.
Well, yeah, if you turn into a human, yeah.
Which is why I wouldn't turn into a human.
But how would a bird be any different? I mean, they have different.
I just use the bird as an example because it's the pun I could think of. All right, don't quote me on the bird thing.
Well, then, if you don't have a creature in mind, then you shouldn't use that argument.
Okay, he's basically just like I don't know.
I mean, we kept ragging him about him killing the teammate in the last one. So
exactly.
Let me go through a few here. So here's how I take out Stitch and Gaston here. Okay. So with Gaston, see Gaston and Jafar have somewhat of a similar flaw. More Jafar, but Gaston definitely fits. So. Ego on Jafar. Jafar has like an ego problem. That's what leads to his defeat. He needs to be the most powerful thing, which is the genie, which leads to his defeat. And with Gaston, of course, he's when it comes down to it, he is strong, as we see, and no one like Gaston, like Gaston, does this and that like Gaston. We see that he's strong. He's not a fighter. He is a hunter, and he hunts. And we honestly kind of we don't know how good a hunter he is because the beast is not putting up a fight when he shoots him with the arrow. Mm-hmm. So he's all he really has is he's not a combatant, but he's strong. So he has a mean uppercut, as we see when he punches LeFou across the room. That's really
also he has great aim. He shot that goose from the sky flawlessly.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yes, so he has good aim with the musket. So
aim for the brain.
Because if you hit someone with a musket anywhere except like dead in the brain, you're probably not going to kill them.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying for Syndrome. I'm saying Syndrome could fly down there. He could be. Sorry. I'm saying Syndrome could fly down there, and again, under the instruction of Buzz Lightyear, he could, we know Syndrome also knows how to monologue, but basically he could serve as a distraction for a lot of this fight as well, just kind of like getting into it with, with the villains per se. And villains can have that monologuing trait with all of them, to be honest. And basically, kind of like play to Gaston's vanity, insult his vanity, and basically, importantly, just distract Gaston. So Gaston's like, shooting at him. Of course, he probably freeze it with, Freezer like take some arrows and stuff with the 0-point energy, kind of deflect it here and there. And basically, while that's going on, Buzz will swoop in behind him. He will disarm him, grab his musket, and basically break the musket over his head, knocking him out.
Do you remember what happened with Jack and Syndrome at the end of the first Incredibles movie?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what Stitch is before he meets Lilo. He's this uncontrollable little monster. So
now, here's what Syndrome would do, having learned.
He handled that very well. He lost one of his rocket boots and got his hair pulled out.
But here's what I'm going to argue with that. See, I knew you were going to make that argument. Here's what I got. So, what Syndrome's going to do is, learning from that experience, he is, basically having, a little monster-like thing. Basically, basically kind of like a Hawkeye from Avengers. I know you don't, sorry, I just realized you don't get this reference. But, basically Hawkeye from Avengers 2 doesn't want to have the same thing happen to him in the first movie happen again. Syndrome have somewhat of a similar thing where basically the minute Stitch is, pulling his hair and all sorts of stuff in his face, what he's going to do is using, again, I would like to say he updated with, an electrical charge, but just playing ball here is with the 0-point energy, because the 0-point works in, a controlled beam, which will free someone and hold him. But in this case, he can also use his concussive blast. He will use put his hands up like he was holding Jack. But in this case, he was all caught by surprise. With Stitch this time, he's going to get his hands on Stitch and basically with both gauntlets, a little concussive blast that'll blow him off of him and onto the ground somewhere. On the crease, because again, not again. And then, let's see, so basically...
Yeah, and then while Syndrome's distracted doing that, Gaston aims for the brain.
I'm saying, again, Buzz broke Gaston's musket. He broke it over his head. I mean, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Gaston is by far the easiest person to take out in this fight. I mean, he's just a dude, right?
You got 3 ways to take out Gaston. I mean, you can take your picks. I mean, that's way 1. Way 2 is just Buzz Lightyear. Again, more he's more physically combatant versus Gaston just has a good punch.
Oh,
I mean, he's good at wrestling too. But I'm still, he wrestles around with the guys in the bar. But I'm saying, Buzz could take him out that way. He could also fly him into space. He could just hook the anti-gravity belt on him if he wanted to, just to kind of give him, basically Buzz puts on the anti-gravity belt and flies him up into space until he gets knocked out with lack of air. I mean, there are various ways to take out Gaston.
Yeah. I mean, Gaston is just he's pretty much done for in this fight. I think.
Yeah, but Gaston is not an idiot. Okay, he knows how to.
It doesn't matter if he's not an idiot. He doesn't have any powers, and literally
no, technically Gaston is an idiot.
Yeah, technically he is. You're right.
Because again, he's all about I'm going to kill the beast, and again, the beast is down. He just he keeps kicking instead of just taking his final shot. And then importantly, after
well, if that's the case, then technically Syndrome's an idiot for holding the baby over their family's head, monologuing.
I mean, still, he had the baby. The family was helpless to stop him, though.
So what everyone's saying is that my team is the only team who doesn't have an idiot on it. Then.
Well, no, Jafar's kind of an idiot.
I don't think Jafar's necessarily an idiot. I mean, yeah, he got corrupted by power.
I'm saying they're none of them. They're not perfect.
Okay, well, Jafar, like you said, I think it was more greed than stupidity, though.
Well, sure.
I think those are 2 very, very different things. Greed can be used to your advantage when it comes to a fight. You can have greed on your side, especially if it's every man for himself. Jafar is going to make no bones about killing someone because he's just a greedy son of a bitch. He's out for himself. So he's not going to have any sort of moral dilemma. However, I feel like Buzz Lightyear would have a big moral dilemma about killing people. I feel like that's where Buzz Lightyear would really struggle in this fight.
Well, remember, we're not killing.
That's the thing. I mean, we're beating, but we're not really necessarily killing.
Yeah. It's more knocking out,
Okay, but I'm just saying, I think in terms of, the physical violence and stuff, Buzz Lightyear, he's... he wrote the book and everything. I just don't think he'd be really that comfortable with dealing a finishing blow. I don't know. It just seems like Buzz Lightyear.
I'm not killing Gaston, just knocking him out.
I know you're not killing him, but I just think Buzz Lightyear, he's a little bit too much of a Boy Scout to really be engaged in this fight in the same way that Jafar would be, because Jafar is just completely ruthless.
Buzz Lightyear's the guy you'd call to stop Jafar. I mean, Aladdin was going up against Jafar, and again, had he been more skilled like Buzz Lightyear, he might have done it without, just kind of playing to what Jafar's fatal flaws. And again, it didn't get him just at the end of that movie. It got him throughout various points in the movie. His greed, his ego, and his greed are his undoing. Because again, he just can't be patient. He can't just wait. Had he helped Aladdin up, he would have gotten the lamp per the agreement. And again, he couldn't be that'd be greedy and just unnecessarily cruel. And in doing so, he got screwed out of the lamp. And then at the end there, he had to be the genie. He just had Aladdin right where he wanted him. Again, his greed is his undoing, and ego is also his undoing. He needs to be top dog. He needs to be salt. He needs to be bowed down to.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but like I said, I think that I don't necessarily, like I said, I'm kind of going in circles here, but there's a big difference between greed and surviving a physical confrontation, which is what this is all about. This is not about like a plot of a movie or like a political plan that Jafar has woven in that Aladdin does nail him for. Yeah, sure. This is about just strictly survival. And like I said, when you're in a survival type situation, that's when having greed like Jafar comes in handy. That's when you have absolutely no moral obligation to anybody. Let's not forget that Stitch has a spaceship, and Gaston can also use that to his advantage.
Oh.
Well, look, if we want to factor the spaceship in there, which of course again was allowed, so by all means, again, Syndrome's Omnidroid's going to.
I mean, I feel like exactly. I feel like there's a lot of ways that you could bring that spaceship down.
There's also a lot of ways the spaceship could bring you down.
Well, that's what you guys are here to discuss. Like, remember.
All right, let me.
Remember, guys, strategize.
As far as a snake, you have this spaceship firing lasers at it. He's not going to last.
Keep in mind, it's not just a snake. Like, he can transform into literally anything in the canon of the movie. Like, we don't see him transform into many things. That doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to do it.
I know, but he can't.
Let me through.
He can't turn into a laser explosive firing spaceship.
I'll give you that, Sandy. He can't turn into a laser firing
spaceship. That's kind of hard
spaceship.
to make a pun about.
He can turn into like a tiny little rodent and hide. Like hide in like a crevice of the battlefield until the spaceship gets taken down by Syndrome, who because that's the thing. I think Syndrome would probably be the most likely person to actually take down the spaceship.
That's why the spaceship would take Syndrome down first when he's not expecting it. When Syndrome's busy...
Well, again, the Omnidroids have sensors. They fire the lasers at the spaceship.
When Syndrome's busy breaking the musket over Gaston's head...
Buzz Lightyear's breaking the musket over Gaston's head.
When Syndrome's busy breaking...
Syndrome's distracting me as the Omnidroids is backup, which are targeting the spaceship.
Syndrome's breaking the musket over Gaston's head.
Buzz Lightyear's breaking the musket over Gaston.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear's breaking the musket.
Okay, then he takes... he takes Buzz's ass out and just kills him.
Okay, but then Syndrome's the one who can crash the spaceship then. So you're going in circles and contradicting yourself, Sandy.
Again, Gaston's on the ground floor instead of being like, is he in the ship? Is he not in the ship?
No, he wouldn't be in the ship. I mean, you made the argument that Buzz is breaking the musket over Gaston's head, which is basically putting him down. So Stitch basically just takes them both out. You don't have to sacrifice one. Sorry to play that card again.
I'm very much saying that wouldn't happen because one, there's backup that could spot this, and of course there's also just, again, if he has an Android backup which have the sensors built in, you could also use that. But again, just points like someone would see that. That's kind of, again, Stitch isn't exactly subtle in that thing. It's like, oh, red, he's always like, I'm in the red sports car spaceship.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me say this. So let's put Stitch on the ground for a moment. Again, just get off the spaceship. Well, even if it crashes, whatever, point Stitch is going to be on the ground at some point during this fight, right? So
yeah.
Stitch doing his ball thing, like we know he does, because it's a way of getting around. It's a cool thing with Stitch's character. The minute he gets into that ball-like shape when he's rolling around, like for tactical purposes or whatever you like to make it, Syndrome, again, under the instruction, they'll grab him while he's in that ball state with the 0-point energy, which basically makes you helpless. I'm not just going to say, and he wins. No, I'm not going to do that. What he's going to do is he's going to use it for the grand purpose of the battle here. He's going to take that ball of Stitch, and whether he uses it like a mace or just like kind of a bat, because 0-point is just kind of like a extended kind of kind of stiff thing. Basically with like a stitch ball at the end of it. Like imagine like a paddle ball string, but it's solid. Again, can be creative with whatever points. He's using that to, in a very kind of Loki smash type way, beat the form that Jafar is transformed into. Basically, you beat him with Stitch. Beat him over the head. Beat him over the head with Stitch until I guess he transforms. Or again, he's really battered to the point where he's going to have to transform, which Tiki's kind of established. He would get that if he gets really battle damaged.
Yeah, and you can just do that over and over. He can just keep transforming over and over.
Change it up.
Like as soon as he gets wounded in one form, he can change it up and go into another form.
And he can still beat him the other form with it as well. I'm saying.
But just because he changes from, like, say if Jafar gets wounded, just because he changes into another form, that doesn't give him these regenerative powers where he can just heal his wounds automatically.
He will be a little beaten. You have to admit that. We didn't see him outside the snake form because they went to the genie form. But I mean, Jafar was stabbed. We still don't know how that works.
But like I said, it all depends on the strategy of what he decided to change into. An injury for one creature wouldn't have the same impact as an injury for another creature.
But it's still an injury.
It's kind of hard to tell.
Like I said, he could use the transformation to his advantage, though.
That is kind of a gray area, considering it's like it is never really implied that he felt the injury from the snake, but it also didn't ever say it was there.
Yeah.
And again, he turns into something that wouldn't be injured at all, which would be a genie, which wasn't his doing, which was the genie's doing. I'm saying that's why it's kind of hard to tell what would happen if
So I think the reason why Frozone has not been brought up much in this fight is because Frozone is the goddamn...
No, I have everything.
No, Frozone's the goddamn coolest character in this whole fight, and literally none of the other characters would even want to take him down because they respect him so much.
No, I have an awesome way to take down Frozone. I've just been waiting to use it.
Fire away, dragon.
Okay, so Frozone just kind of basically Buzz fires into the air, and again, the Syndrome could also bait him if need be. But let's just say, for argument's sake, Buzz is like our main guy drawing. He's in the air, which means Syndrome's gonna have to do his awesome thing where he basically he's firing the ice blast. He's kind of like making kind of the ski up in the air. You know what I mean, right? Like when he's fighting the Omnidroid in the Incredibles, just like skiing up in midair. And get very much like Iceman too. So anyway, he's doing that, and basically Buzz kind of drawing him out. And basically, the second he's about to fire, the second if Syndrome's about to fire, sorry, I'm mixing my events up here. So basically, Frozone is in that pose where he's about to blast Buzz because Buzz is kind of lingering. He's holding. Syndrome is waiting for this moment where basically the arms are extended, the blow's about to be made. He basically grabs Syndrome by either the legs or the snowboard. However you want to. Whichever one. Sometimes he can do it without the board, sometimes with the board or the skis. Points whatever he's trying to by the legs. He grabs him and he turns and basically freezes everyone else in the battlefield. Basically, that mid-ice blast, he's grabs him by the feet, turn, and kind of freezes the area to the left or right, wherever the action's going on.
But
take out multiple.
If it freezes everyone in the battlefield, then it would also freeze your people.
No, I'm saying my guy. I'm saying a distance away from the immediate closed area of the ice ramp. I'm saying it's like raining. It's like raining ice essentially. It's not coming down like rain. I'm saying spreading it's spreading from a distance.
All right.
Anyway, so in terms of where to go there, I'm saying that's how you use Frozone against everyone else. But here's how you actually take down Frozone. So. As I mentioned, one of Buzz Lightyear's laser capabilities is thermal, which he has used in Buzz Lightyear Star Command to unfreeze people who have been frozen.
Okay, just because Frozone has ice powers doesn't mean he can melt.
I know that. I'm not going somewhere with it. So,
all right.
So I'm saying, here's the plan. Here's the plan for the takedown. Okay, so I'm sorry, he's factoring into it. I just got to make sure I get it.
All good.
So, okay. So Frozone, he's going, doesn't like being 0 pointed, so he's going after my guys really hard right now. So he's going after primarily I'm focusing this on Buzz because again Buzz is telling him going around here. Well, he's not making fun, but he's kind of leading him places, and again he's kind of the guy he's giving chase to. So for a few, basically Buzz can let out a few laser blasts, not the thermal one, just kind of a few average laser blasts to kind of the minute Frozone throws an ice blast at him, he kind of makes steam out of it. It's like heat and cold meeting each other. It makes some steam, kind of a smoke screen effect going on. So that kind of, Buzz kind of disappears from him. So again, the Frozone's momentarily discombobulated. Following that, Syndrome Syndrome basically he will then pop up and he will distract. He basically hands Buzz the explosive from the gauntlet. Remember the thing he dropped off the cliff to dispatch Mr. Incredible with, that little explosive built into the gauntlet. He will toss that to Buzz while all the confusion's going on and the smoke, the steam clears. Then it's Syndrome right in the Frozone's face, and he's going to again kind of distract him anyway. So Buzz is going to come in almost like a bomber the minute he's about to fire on. Again, there's teamwork going on here. The minute he's about to fire on Syndrome, he drops the bombs timed just perfectly with you hear the beep 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 as he almost like a bomber with those wings coming out like that. Flies right over his head, drops in basically a big concussive blast that takes him off of his icy platform and all the stuff he's kind of making like Iceman. He falls to the ground, and while Syndrome's off the ground, while he doesn't have his board on him at the moment, he's tumbling on the ground. I'm sure I'm not saying that the fall is going to kill him or anything. I'm saying he's probably going to make snow to cushion his fall. Snow to cushion his fall, and then Buzz will basically use the thermal setting on the laser because remember Syndrome. Syndrome and Frozone. The owns keep getting me. I'm sorry. Here's going to happen. So, using the thermal setting, because Frozone's weakness, let's not forget, dehydration. He gets dehydrated, he can't create ice. If there's not enough moisture in the air or he gets dehydrated, he can't create ice. So basically, he's going to heat Frozone and tire him out by basically kind of jumping around. As we know, Buzz Lightyear likes to leap. He likes to do the stuff which we see in the Star Command, Space Ranger Academy constantly. And basically go around him and tire him out, which also, if it really boiled down to fisticuffs, we know Syndrome's not a close combat combatant. He's not really hand-to-hand combat. He's all from a distance blasting. He kind of knows what stuff to make. But again, it's blast and structures is usually what Syndrome does. And basically, he'd be running out of ice at this point. Then basically tire him out, and Buzz would knock him out. Or again, tire him out or knock him out. He'd just be out of heat exhaust. He'd just go down.
And then Stitch aims for the brain.
I took out Stitch Ray.
I just want to recontextualize my arguments here for a second, because I kind of realize that Dragon has the upper hand in this fight, and I think I will probably admit that Dragon's people would probably win. So at this point, I'm just going to be honest here and say I'm fighting for second place, and I think that Ezra's arguments are kind of bogus. Especially because Jacob has said multiple times not to straight up say that they just kill them, and yet Ezra just continually does that. So he's just continually breaking the rules, and like I said, I think we can all agree and establish that Gaston is the easiest to kill. And
he is.
And here's how I'd stop Stitch, by the way, just to help your argument. Basically, the goo balls, if they can stop Mr. Incredible, they can stop Stitch. And again, they're not about him using his super strength to get out of it. Not using his ability.
I think with Stitch, the main problem, the main challenge with Stitch is just catching him. I don't think he's physically impossible to beat. I just think you have to catch him. And so, yeah, I agree that those goo balls would be a good kind of device to do that.
And a way of luring him there is with Buzz's collapsible blaster, because it is referenced in Lilo and Stitch that Jumbo points out, you can stun Stitch if you shoot him with a plasma blast in just the right spot. That will stun him. Basically, while he's stunned, then Syndrome will use the goo balls, and then he'll be immobile, and Stitch will be done. And we've seen constantly Lilo and Stitch. You can catch Stitch in a really tempered kind of glass there. I'm not saying they have that. I'm just saying it means that Stitch can be captured. And also, there's the hilarious gag in the end. The Stitch Lilo and Stitch animated series are basically Hamsterville, the bad guy. He can capture Stitch by basically putting some sort of thing that has a weight on him, and the weight is 3001. Again, that's how you stop Stitch as well. 3000.
Yeah, it's absolutely been established throughout the show, throughout the canon of the show, that that Stitch, he can be taken down. So I really do think that Stitch and Gaston are the two weaker fighters. I think that Frozone, I think that Dragon and I can our guys can put up a good fight with each other. And I will admit that Dragon put up, I'm not even going to try and argue Dragon's points, because if I do, I'll just kind of talk circles and contradict myself. So I'm just going to strategically not argue Dragon's points.
I still got some additional ways, Blaze. I got some extra.
Well, okay, technically, Dragon, this is a fight, so, you can't destroy people multiple times in a fight.
No, I'm saying in case you guys find a way out of it, I have, at the ready.
Well, like I said, I'm not even going to attempt to find a way out of it, because I just, Like I'm just intimidated by you. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. But as I said, I'm kind of like pretty much bowing out at this point. But as I said, I think that
talk.
I know. I'm being strategic.
All right.
Okay. Like I said, I think at this point, like I do think that Ezra is just the easiest to take down. So.
Well, Ezra, what do you have to say about that? Remember, A game.
I know my characters are very, very on the spot, which I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm just saying, it makes sense that they're definitely the weakest in the bunch here. So
He admitted it.
Yeah, I mean,
So if you guys are going to take points away from me from admitting that Dragon's probably got the upper hand, you can't also not take points away from Sandy for straight up admitting that he's got the weakest pair of characters. So that kind of neutralizes my whole strategy, I think. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for that validation. You fell right into my trap.
Okay, it's just a game.
And do I take that as the final?
I would take that as the final thing if I were you.
Yeah.
All right.
All my stuff's backup, so I'm
Yeah.
done with the main stuff. You guys ready?
All right then.
Oh man, I'm very curious how that last bit of strategy on my end is going to pay off. That was a risk on my part, guys. That was a risk.
All right. This is going to require some deliberation. And
Oh god.
this is way more. This is way more in depth than the usual Disney debate.
Definitely.
Okay, first of all, I can say all of you guys made very strong arguments for your particular picks. I mean, you guys definitely went above and beyond, but definitely better than last time when we did this on the debate. So
I mean, to be fair, no one killed off their own character. So yeah, I think that's a step in the right direction.
yeah, although I think Ezra almost did. Sandy almost did. By one.
Oh god.
But I don't know. But like I said, I'm proud of you guys there. You guys really stepped up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, everybody put up a great fight, but I will say this: Dragon, you're definitely moving. You're definitely moving ahead. You definitely had
Obviously.
Dragon, you had some very strong.
It just got to the point where it's like, okay, if I even try and go against this, I'm just gonna end up looking bad.
You made some very strong arguments. Your characters do work logically together. There's some points where they kind of you had some trouble with the canon, but you still pulled it out in a logical way where these two characters could work together and how they could form a formidable team. So, kudos to that, Dragon.
All right.
Okay, so the next order doesn't necessarily indicate who's going to go ahead, but Sandy, you could have really used more of your strengths. I mean, you have an indestructible alien on your team. You could have really used that to your advantage. How he can survive explosions and shoot himself into the sky. I mean, he used a tanker to shoot himself into the sky. You could have used that. I mean, he's freaking indestructible.
He is indestructible and fireproof.
Yes. You could have used that to your advantage. Like he can lift 3,000 times his weight. That means and none of these characters last time I checked are 3,000 times their weight. You could have easily used it he could fling them around. He's able to swing Gantu around. He could have used Stitch's strength to his advantage and used Gaston as
Oh my god, him swinging Gaston around as a weapon. Oh my god, Jacob, that's awesome.
Well, that's not what I was implying, but that'd actually be a pretty funny idea.
Also, you never gave Stitch's guns. I mean, you used the version of Stitch with the guns.
Right.
Yeah, well, yes, Stitch does have guns.
Yeah, he has four. Yeah, he has 4 guns.
I never once heard the Sandy was so he was so focused on the old school musket from Gaston that he forgot about the firearms that actually would be effective in combat.
With the ready, I had the whole Buzz Lightyear and Stitch getting into a firefight. It was going to be cool.
Oh god!
You could have asked for my advice. Remember?
I know.
So I'm surprised you guys didn't do that. But Sandy, you could have you completely only basically used Stitch he uses the red car and he just does this he's out to the side. Stitch should have been your main hitter there, and Gaston would be the defensive one, like the strategist and stuff like that. I mean, it's clearly able to rally people and able to do things. So you could have used that. So
I could have.
Stitch could have been your heavy hitter. Remember, 3,000 times weight, indestructible. You could have easily used him to your advantage, but you kind of squandered it in a way.
Maybe I meant to.
So,
I guess we'll never know.
and Tinky,
Yo,
I do like your pick, though. They did level some heavy arguments against Jafar in a way, like against Jafar, and like they didn't really use much. You didn't really use Syndrome that. I mean, Frozone that much.
See what I mean? It's a little difficult, right?
You didn't really use Frozone that much. I mean, he's I was like, yeah, they won't even go after him. I mean, like, yeah, they would. It's a battle.
I know. I was just joking around when I was saying that.
I know, but I know. But he didn't really even use him that much. I mean, he didn't really say how he'd be able to go up against any of these people, really. I mean, like how he would survive, how he would work with Jafar, or really how he'd go against like Buzz Lightyear, Stitch, or any of that. I mean, like, you basically had Jafar doing everything.
All right.
That's kind of true,
But like, I would have to say, I mean, wow, this is actually kind of hard. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, Dragon definitely is going ahead. That one I know for sure. Why don't you how about I have to do this? Like, you guys, and using my little bits of advice, you and Cheeky and Ezra going a little bit of a head-to-head with you, head-to-head again. Like, just a little bit. Like,
really? Oh, I am so not prepared for that.
No, I mean, it's just like using the same characters, like, same format, just you two.
Can we not? Can we just not? Because I kind of feel like...
Dragon already won.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the whole, like the whole point of the fight is just to, like,
okay.
All the arguments are already out there.
Okay. All right. I mean, I just hope they'll do that. All
Trial
right.
run, folks.
Yep, trial run. So,
Pilotitis.
I guess technically in the end, Tiki goes ahead to the second round.
I'm so sorry, Ezra. I'm so sorry. I feel genuinely bad. Jacob, I'm just curious, Jacob. What do you think of my strategy to kind of like just nullify the dragon arguments? Just like, okay, I can't win against that. I'll just focus on Sandy.
That definitely solidified my argument to have Dragon go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just curious if that helped or hurt my argument, though.
No, I mean, it's kind of like you forfeiting to Dragon, so it both helped and hurt a little bit for you.
All right. Cool, fair enough.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like saying that I can't beat Dragon, so I mean, like, it's kind of solidified Dragon going ahead.
And I understand that, but the reason I said that anyway is because I knew, like I said, I knew Dragon was going to go ahead. I knew there was nothing I could do to stop that. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to straight up admit that, straight up be honest, and, go for Sandy. So.
All right. Well, I will admit that this is a lot of fun, guys, and I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
And you guys all put up a very good fight.
Thank you.
Hey, because this is like the development episode, can I ask a quick question so I know going forward?
Yeah.
I just want to clear the lifeline. Is it only like everyone gets one per show, or is it like one per round?
One per round, like once per person per round.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was once per show, so that's why I was hanging on to it.
I probably should have. Sorry, I should have clarified.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I thought it was like
because I probably would have used the lifeline right after Dragon took my people down instead of just being like, "Well, I can't argue that."
well, like I said, I'm sorry. I probably should have.
It's all good. You're good.
Again, trial run, folks. Pilotitis, working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and for then, ready for the next round. Sandy, you can be my co-officiary for this one. All right.
All right.
You can co-judge this one because that was the rules.
All right.
It's like Survivor. It's like the people that we eliminated now get to decide our fates.
All right, so ready, guys? Ready for round two?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. There are many gods, demigods, and very magical beings throughout the Disney canon. The goal here was to pick one, and to figure out who is in fact the most powerful and who would win if they came into a one-on-one. There was only one, and the goal was only pick one character, like a god, demigod, or very magical being, and figure out who would come out on top. And Sandy, your pick was Genie, so he's out. Since you're out, so is he.
I will say that Genie was probably the most intimidating one out of all of these, so I'm very relieved that I don't have to go against Genie.
I was prepared for Genie. I was worried. Honestly, I'm relieved that Sandy's not going there because I have a thing ready for Genie. I'm still like, I don't know if this is going to work or not.
Oh,
You're gonna take everyone down with baklava.
Oh god, that would have been amazing. I wanted to. Oh, that would have been.
Oh yeah. Maybe I can bring some of this.
Endless baklava.
I should definitely bring a question like this back in a future game.
Yeah, for sure.
Where all three of you can battle it out.
Oh.
But all right, but that was the goal, and it's between Dragon and Tiki. And go ahead and state your characters.
Right.
You want us to state characters first and then do an opening statement?
Basically, what you did last time.
Okay. So I am picking basically the Satan of the Disney universe, the Chernabog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it really the? I thought it was
No,
just Chernabog.
I think he's just adding it for emphasis.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
yeah.
I was curious.
The Chernabog from Night on Bald Mountain.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
right. Gotcha. So just announcing what I got?
Yep.
Okay, I have Hercules from the animated film Hercules.
I thought it was from the animated film Home on the Range. I'm totally kidding.
Stupid was it's from that buffalo.
God. Okay, opening statements then?
Yes.
All right, as I said, the Chernabog is, I think, by far and away, not only the most physically intimidating just from a visual point of view, just from a design point of view. This guy is massive. This guy is literally the size of a mountain.
Mountaintop.
What?
Mountaintop.
Well, yeah, sure. And he's got the command of the entire underworld at his beck and call. And okay, basically I want to kind of emphasize, like with Chernabog, I was going to pick him the last time we did this KO thing. I was going to pick him as my villain, but then I was like, well, he's not exactly all that mobile. But if we're going to go into canon here, in House of Mouse, Chernabog is just out and about. So there's no rule that states that Chernabog has to stay inside the mountain. That's how we see him in Night on Bald Mountain, but he can go anywhere. And the dude has got like giant wings. I don't even know what the fuck he's made out of. Like literally, this guy might just be like made out of the personification of pure evil. Like, I don't even know if he's a living organism with like flesh and blood. Like, he might just be completely just evil personified. And as I said, he's just like if you want to talk about, like, Hercules went up against Hades. He's like the god of the underworld. Yeah, but this guy literally controls everyone who is dead. All the spirits, all the ghosts, he's it. Like, Hades, this guy is basically Hades' boss. So, yeah, that's basically my argument.
All right, let's see. So, okay, Hercules. So Hercules, of course, demigod, son of Zeus and Hera. And just always a reminder, in case anyone's just going to argue in the godhood, always says the open invitation to godhood, because, at the end of Hercules, he earned the true, he was a true hero, so he's going to welcome up to Olympus anytime. That's kind of the vibe I got from it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's faced, importantly with Hercules, so again, the Hercules, of course, one of the basis of Superman, of course, is the guy with super strength, very heroic, kind of in the realm of Greek mythology, if you will. He's faced everything Hades threw at him, as we saw in the 1997 film. He faced the Hydra, which is in itself is cool, but the Hydra, which was a continuous foe, and cut off one head, two more grow in its place, along with the original by the Disney standards. But I'm not going to argue Marvel semantics. The point is, Hydra, cut off the head, it keeps going and going and going. He went up against the centaur Nicias, or basically the Jim Cummings giant blue horse guy. That guy. Various monsters, which I'm going to really get names on me, like the giant bird, the giant monstrous bird, warthog, sea monster, minotaur, which is just awesome. I had that my Indiana Jones pitch, minotaur. Yeah. The griffin. Griffin, of course, he helped and he took out a few of the Titans that were like the big deal that they could actually take down Zeus if they teamed up. Hades freed. I mean, let me remind you guys this: he took out the Cyclops, which was huge, which was massive, without his powers. He took him out without powers. As after had his demigodhood kind of stripped from him, and he still found a way to defeat the Cyclops. Took a beating, but he found a way to do it, and that's where we get into the kind of classic thing of Hercules, where it's the heroic feats versus the super strength. The super strength just kind of adds to the kind of the Superman-esque spectacle of it all. He defeated Hades' dog Cerberus, which is awesome. Actually made the thing kind of like him too in a weird way, like kind of was that alpha dog thing, was intimidated by him. Plugged up a volcano, so right there spells a little bit of doom for Chernobog right at the beginning there.
Well, like I said, if he tries to play, like, Chernobog is not stranded to that volcano.
No, I know that, Tiki. I mean, I know that. I'm not saying that instantly defeat. I'm just saying it's like not a good omen for Chernobog.
Right. Okay, I get
it. He plugs up a volcano, and again, just super strength, very agile. He's nigh invulnerable. That's an important one. Like the Tick and Mr. Incredible, he's nigh invulnerable. So that's kind of like a good kind of description for kind of how indestructible he is. He has a sword, and importantly, last thing I really got to hit with Hercules, and that's kind of my bona fide on the guy, kind of my death battles. That's kind of like laying out kind of the list on the guy. He figures things out in battle, which means he's adaptable in battle. That's kind of against the charm of Hercules, not only the myth, but in the Disney films that he kind of figures things. He pulls a fish, and he still finds a way to defeat the centaur guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Hercules, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Dragon, you do have an impressive resume of people that Hercules have defeated. All right, I will give you that. But as I said, I think the big difference between like these monsters that Hades throws at Hercules and the devil himself.
Now, acknowledge it, I know where you're going for here. Is that Walt Disney described it as the devil, but they're again just labeling it Chernobog has kind of opened the skepticism if he is like the end all be all double. He's a hell beast, to say that's official. He is a hell beast.
And as I said, you don't even know that this thing is flesh and blood. This thing could literally be a creature of the shadows. Like, we don't know. We don't know what this thing is made out of. I certainly don't think this thing has like a regular like skeleton and like organs and everything like that. Like, this is a thing that is made of pure nightmare fuel right there. And I think that right there makes him more or less impossible to kill. How can you kill something that is literally the god of the underworld? And I understand with Hades, like, it's getting kind of like the big thing with Hercules and Chernobog, right? Is that like Hercules' main enemy is Hades, who is kind of like the devil of his universe, and then Chernobog.
Yeah. So that's the thing, like getting into whole like kind of ranking and kind of leadership.
I think if we're gonna get into that, I think Chernobog clearly outranks Hades.
To be fair, Hades oversees. Well, that's the thing. He oversees the souls, but then again, he has the power to make the deals. That's very
Hades
devilish.
is basically the supervisor, whereas Chernobog is like the big upper management.
It's like Hades. It's kind of weird. Hades is more in line with the actual devil in terms of he can make the deals and stuff like that's the big kind of humor.
But I just think if we're doing like this hypothetical, like all the Disney universe is connected and there's a hierarchy to it. I mean, Chernobog's got to be above Hades, I think.
You guys have played Kingdom Hearts. You know about Kingdom Hearts, so I don't know how that, if we're even going to factor that in there. So, I mean, I don't have the universes would collide in that respect. So.
Kingdom Hearts, the universe don't collide.
All right, I'm unfamiliar. I just looked a little bit of Chernobog, and that's kind of, again, there's not a lot with Chernobog out there, so you really have to do your research on them. There's Once Upon a Time is the main thing where you see him outside the volcanoes. That's what I looked at for this.
And House of Mouse.
I'm sorry, yes, but I mean, you get to see him actually fight in battle Once Upon a Time.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really. I told you to check out the show.
I know.
I will say this though about Chernobog.
Yeah.
There was this one time he was scared by Michael Eisner.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, like he was actually like there was like this promotional thing, and he was actually intimidated by Michael Eisner.
Oh, that sounds hilarious.
But Jacob, I just want to point this out, Jacob. Like, you can't use that argument against me because Dragon didn't know about it.
I know
this is the fun fact. I wasn't going to. That's hilarious.
I just wanted to say that.
All right.
That's cool.
So like I said,
real quick, I'm sorry, T. I just want to validate something with Jacob here. Can I use Pegasus at all or no?
Well, I mean, well, yeah.
I mean, it would just be for flight. It wouldn't really be for battle.
I mean, if Chernobog's able to use his demon stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I think that should be fair game. Yeah, because I'm using.
He can conjure like little fire spirit things. I mean,
and all the ghosts and everything else. Yeah.
I mean, if he can do that, I'll Pegasus and Godhood.
Okay, cool. I'm totally fine with that.
Okay.
And I will say he's also allowed godhood.
Which I'm also totally fine with.
Okay.
I just think with like if you're gonna have Pegasus, if you're gonna have the element of flight in here, like we haven't seen Chernobog in action, but he does have those giant ass fucking wings, which means he clearly can fly. So that's not really gonna give Hercules all that much of an advantage.
Well, I know. I'm just saying you can actually. Basically, it was like Hercules. If I didn't have Pegasus, I was going to have the Chernobog logically at some point too. Again, mainly based again. Once upon a time was my main source for like him outside the volcano, but I'm saying that was like him flying and actually in battle. So I was kind of measuring a lot of it by that. And I was basically, if he didn't have Pegasus, just to be able to play the waiting game, wait for Chernobog to make the first move. But regardless, I mean, Hercules can now kind of like let me throw this move at you. So Hercules with a sword, he's on Pegasus and basically kind of like he's flying towards a really scary guy, which again shows kind of a hero Hercules is in a way. He's flying up there. He's doing a very kind of Greek mythological thing where he's going to like kind of go for the eyes in the first blow. He's gonna fly up to him like the minute Chernobog, like he does, like let's say he starts in the volcano, and then he flies out, and then I'm just saying taking it from there logically. You know, he unfurls the wings, and then he's there. You know, and then like the minute that happens in Hercules, he's flying up to him. You know, he scratches.
I'm sorry, just really quick. I'm looking up the Once Upon a Time Chernobog thing, and holy shit, this thing's badass.
I told you. I told you before that he was in Once Upon a Time. But yeah, again, it looks just like him too, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Even got the face shot. I don't know. We're getting sidetracked. The point is, he just fires there, like he goes for the eyes. And I'm just saying, just for the sake of argument, again, while it is vague, I'm going to say that I'm thinking again through the Hercules terms. Like, we have Cerberus, and basically a lot of the monsters they are kind of hell beast, and they are for the most. Again, Cerberus directly is a hell beast, and I figure Chernobog in many respects he's kind of like a lot of those monsters Hercules faced mixed in with, again, kind of that mythological kind of scale and kind of imposingness of a Cerberus, but of course his own thing too. I'm just saying I'm thinking flesh and blood, but again, like the mythological flesh and blood as well. So it's.
I mean, in terms of scale, I definitely think Chernobog is bigger than Cerberus.
Oh, he is, yeah. Sure, but I will say this: I think he does actually match up because again, he's the size of a mountaintop, not the whole mountain. So
I understand that. However, you also have to factor in that when you see him in Night and Bob Mountain, you're not seeing his whole shape; you're just seeing the upper half of him.
That's true.
Well, yes, that is true. But still,
so like when you see him in Night on Bald Mountain, and he's massive, he's just got those giant arms and those giant wings, and he just like towers over that mountain, like. For all we know, those legs could literally just be the whole size of the mountain. We don't know.
Well, that would look very disproportionate, though. I mean, to the arm. I'm saying it has to be as long as the arms are.
Or he could have skipped leg day.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying when like we don't exactly know the full size of him in comparison to the mountaintop. It's left ambiguous.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like the wings would have to be.
Well, technically, you do see his legs in House of Mouse.
We do, but also.
If you're going to use that.
I think House of Mouse does establish that he can go outside the mountain, which is the main thing I'm using for House of Mouse. But like in terms of the scale and everything, I'd like to mostly focus on the Night on Bald Mountain depiction of that.
Something to highlight with Chernobog is that he does have multiple scales, so you have to nail it down. So you're sticking with the Night on Bald Mountain scale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sticking on with the Night on Bald Mountain.
I'm saying that includes legs and everything. I'm just saying that's like kind of the main scale you're
going. Yes, absolutely.
You're basically combining the scale of Night on Bald Mountain with the mobility of House of Mouse.
Just basically the fact that hey, look, he can go out of the mountain. Okay. That's literally the only thing I'm pulling from House of Mouse. Yeah.
And I'm actually looking at like the video right now of Night on Bald Mountain. He is kind of like he basically forms the mountaintop. Like
the top, yeah.
Yeah. So
like I said, you don't see his legs at all. You don't see his lower body at all. So he's.
There is that.
Well, his arms fit underneath his wings.
Underneath the wings, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have to just factor in no bigger than the wings. And
I got you. But those wings are huge. So
the point is, I get that he's really big. He's really, really big. And let me say, it's proportionate by scale. I looked into this based on the Bald Mountain thing. Based on the Bald Mountain scale, the Cyclops from Hercules is about roughly the same. I'm saying it's of the same height. I could surmise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it's
As
really
I said,
big.
the main difference between the Cyclops and basically all the other creatures that Hercules fights and the Chernobog is that A, obviously Chernobog outranks them, and B, I feel like the Chernobog has the cunning and the intelligence. Like the Chernobog is not just like a dumb, mindless creature who's just like rampaging through Olympus because he's, you know, dumb and mindless. Like the Chernobog, like even in the limited things we see him do in Bald Mountain, we see him, you know, basically like rise an entire army of ghosts from the dead. Like, so clearly this guy knows how to command an army, and he knows how to, you know, basically what I'm trying to say is this guy is not just a mindless animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this guy is a cunning and malicious leader.
Well, I'm not accusing him of being mindless, because we know while he's on Bald Mountain.
No, I know you're not accusing me of being. I'm accusing you of. I'm accusing the Cyclops and all the other monsters that Hercules fights of being mindless. I know you didn't say anything about Chernobog being mindless. I'm simply throwing that at you.
Well, sure. I mean, also, I'm just trying to factor in terms of someone who, again, what we see with Chernobog is that, again, he is raising arms. He's also having just kind of, honestly, none of Bald Mountain is just him kind of having fun, it seems, because, you know, he smiles like he's like dumping a lot of them in lava, like the living little demon guys in lava, and then, of course, ghosts are rising out, and then, like, he's creating, like, little fire guys.
But like I said, the big takeaway of Night on Bald Mountain is the fact that he can conjure an army.
I think he can conjure an army, but in that short, it's not. For this argument, yes, you can.
No, I understand that. In the short, yeah, he's not doing anything with the army. I understand that. That doesn't mean the army doesn't exist.
Well, sure. With that, I'm going to say this. I think Hades would have more vision than. I think Hades is going to have more vision than Chernobog with that.
I mean, I do agree with you with that to a certain extent, but like I said, the Chernobog is just like way more physically. He outranks Hades, and he's way more physically powerful than Hades. So.
Well, again, it's like physical power, absolutely yes, more than Hades in terms of like what he actually is capable of. Again, Hades has magic, where again it's a debate. It's hard to because again he's from like deep, he's a hell beast technically, so he can conjure things, so it's unclear like how much magic would deal with. The point is Chernobog's getting back to the battle itself. So how these guys actually face off against serious. I'm thinking. So again, we go for the eyes. We go for something like really like something you can see. Literally, you can see on Chernobog because it's like the light eyes in the mouth. Mm-hmm. He charges at him. He goes for blind, which is going to piss off Chernobog, and he's going to go. They'll probably raise him from the mountain from the get-go. He's going to rise up, and then he's going to start to take flight. Now, when he's taking flight here, a lot of the battle is going to be aerial. And in doing this aerial battle, I think the next logical place, again, the logical thing that Hercules is going to strive for is going to be, he's going to be going for the wings. It's kind of like the How to Train Your Dragon ending, where he's putting holes in the wings, and primarily, again, with the sword or even without the sword, basically it's going to be a matter of cutting the wings off or crumpling the wings, which, given Hercules' strength, what we've seen, again, literally just like very like dunking a basketball, he can plug up a volcano. With that said, I think he can logically, he could, it would take effort, again, like dodging a lot of stuff, and he could take out the wings of Chernobog, which would make him ground him. Which wouldn't defeat him fully. I'm just saying that would ground him, but then I believe we'd get into the point of then we'd have the armies being risen, whereas Hercules would just he'd fight him off. I would theorize a Hulk clap of some variety. I'm just saying based on the super strength, and maybe a capacity when Hulk does he puts his hands together, kind of like a wave, which could maybe disturb the ghost. Mm-hmm. I was saying again that to me would feel in terms of how to deal with the dispatch of the army. I think there'd be a lot of it's Hercules dealing with the. Can
I just say how I use the army?
Okay, sure. What you got?
I mean, obviously, with the army, they wouldn't necessarily be physical threats to Hercules because they are just ghosts. You know what I mean? So I would use the army as a distraction. I would use the army where you literally have thousands of these white banshee ghost things to just circle Hercules and just make him totally discombobulated. If you want to kill Hercules, you can, as you said, Dragon, with the aerial flight thing, all you have to do with the Chernobog can just conjure up all these ghosts to fly around Pegasus and Hercules. Pegasus gets discombobulated. Hercules gets discombobulated. Hercules falls from thousands of feet. That wouldn't necessarily kill him, but that would certainly injure him. I said,
he has I'm sorry, you're right. You have to shake it off, but again, it wouldn't be.
Hurt. But like I said, with the ghost would be more of just a strategic device in the Chernobog's arsenal. The ghost would be essentially, like, you can't get anywhere near the Chernobog without having to go through the ghosts. And while, yeah, sure, the ghosts aren't going to physically harm you, the ghosts sure can fuck you up in other ways.
I'm going to say this. So, two things. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't believe, and you, I guess correct me on this, Steve, but I want you to think about it, though. So,
Okay.
in Night on Bald Mountain, did the spirits and the ghosts and everything, did they fly? Like, were
Yes.
there ones?
Oh,
did they
yeah.
have wings?
Oh,
Is what I'm getting. Like, do they have wings specifically?
No, they don't have wings, but I mean, you clearly see them like floating out of the graves and then floating up to the mountain.
Well, I mean, do they fly? Okay, but do they like hover above Chernobog? Like, do they like kind of get into Chernobog's kind of space above a little bit? Like, do they like they float like to like close to Chernobog's head? Are they all like? Okay, so you're sure about it? They're all
like I mean, literally the whole first half of that shore is all of them kind of converging up where Chernobog is using flight. So,
I'm saying it might just be them making their way to the mountain and not really flying above their master. I just want to make that clear. So
I don't know. I don't see what flying above their master has to, because like I said, Chernobog.
Well, I mean, there's a chance they might have not.
Chernobog's going to be the one controlling them anyway. So why would they fly above him? Like, the whole point of them is going to be behind Chernobog to make it harder to actually get to Chernobog.
Well, I'm saying there might be a chance if they don't have flight capabilities, or like if they can't float like your traditional ghosts, it might just be like they're making their way to their master. That's like where the dead spirits are like arising from, and that means they can't fly, but they can be with the other one. I'm saying it's a stylistic possibility.
All right, but even if the whole flying ability is to be with their master, like I said, if you're going to use that logic in that argument, then Chernobog has like a gravitational pull towards them. So therefore, it doesn't matter like where Chernobog goes or how high up he goes; they're going to be pulled to him.
Well, fine. Regardless, I mean, here's the thing. So Hercules, you think I don't want to say you're forgetting something, but here's something to point out: is that while Pegasus might be a little startled at first, I mean that'd be like an improvisation in battle. Hercules had to figure to kind of calm Pegasus in the air here, but Hercules isn't going to be scared by him because he actually swam with dead spirits. In Hercules.
I'm not saying he'd be scared by them at all. That's absolutely. I mean,
wouldn't be distracted. I'm saying he wouldn't be distracted by me. It'd be a momentary thing in Pegasus to kind of get him straightened out. But I mean, again, I think he could fix that in midair, possibly.
Possibly, it's possible, but it'd still be a challenge.
He's had a great bond with Pegasus ever since they've been really close ever since birth. And they both made it. Well, he was born, and then the Pegasus made of clouds.
Lifeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I'm doing well in this argument, but I just kind of want to bring in Sandy to just emphasize my points here.
Sandy?
Yeah. Emphasize your points. How so?
Like in terms of like, you're a big Chernobog fan, right?
I mean, I've seen the short, but I mean.
All right, just someone help me out here. Why is Chernobog better than Hercules?
I think
because in the back of my mind, I'm just like, okay, I have this lifeline. I think I'm doing well in this fight, but I'm just going to use the lifeline just to give myself even more of an advantage.
I don't know. I think an argument made he stuck with Sandy with that lifeline. I don't know.
Tiki, what do you need? I mean, I'm not like a.
Okay, again with the pilotitis, like it wasn't really necessarily clear if I could only use one of Sandy or Jacob.
No, I mean, I could use it. I mean, I could do it just in case Sandy isn't very knowledgeable.
What do you need?
As I said, I am simply using this lifeline because I have the option to use the lifeline. I don't even think I really needed it, but.
All right, so what is it, Tiki?
Okay, what I'm having trouble with this fight for me, because I haven't necessarily done the research on it, is I'm not exactly sure how to physically defeat Hercules because he is rock strong. Like, so is there any kind of technicalities here that you guys can help me out with in terms of like how to actually defeat him?
Well, this is I almost called him Chipotle.
Oh, God.
By the power of burritos.
Fear Chipotle.
I do fear Chipotle because a lot of people
Chipotle is great and powerful. Fear him in Fantasia. He will haunt your nightmares. I'm sorry.
He will give you explosive diarrhea.
Pretty much. That's why I am
The
fearful
most
of Chipotle.
dire of diarrheas.
Chernobog isn't exactly puny. He's pretty strong himself. We never get we never see specifically how strong he is, but it's pretty clear that he is pretty big. Not to mention the fact he can break off sections of a mountain and just completely use it as like an object to just whoosh, whack him out from the sky and crush him.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, you're right. He could do that. He could literally just tear into anything. He can use his strength to his advantage and his size to his advantage, and just go into anything in the atmosphere and just hurl it at Hercules. Like Hercules.
He lives in a big mountain. He can just break a piece off and just
And also, keep in mind, he's also the embodiment of pure evil as well, as you pointed out.
And that's kind of the argument I was trying to make too. Like, as I said, with the whole for all we know, Chernobog literally does not have an organ. You know, he doesn't have the typical. He's not like, his body isn't made up of the things that normal. I am so not wording this right.
No, I think we're going to say he's like a demon. Like he's evil.
Yeah, exactly. He's like evil incarnate. It's like
let dragon say his piece.
All right, now to be fair, I see what you're saying here. I get what your argument is. I'm going to respond to it like so. Is that while we, I'm not saying like if we hurt him, he's gonna like his organics are gonna kick in. That's gonna like be he's defeating. He's not gonna bleed out or anything. Is again, I'm saying I'm working with what is physicalized, what is there, and again, we're reading into a lot like what his power set is, because again, he can conjure up like lackeys, and we don't really. Again, that's. I was saying there's like a lot of filling in the blanks with Chernobog. We just got to go with what the facts are, and the facts are again, it's working with what's physicalized. I'm saying. Presumably, you can take down the wings, you can take down the eyes of the map, kind of your classic features in combat. Again, I'm not saying like you could like impale him and then bleed out or anything. So I'm just saying you could.
I think you impaled him like I think like a dagger or even like a full sword. I don't think that would do much at all.
Saying with super strength behind him, like ramming speeds, he could like take out an eye and then
But doesn't really have eyes though. They're just.
Okay, yeah, I actually want to address that, Sandy. Thank you. Like, yeah, I mean, sure, like in the design, he has like the holes where the eyes should be, but you don't see the pupils. I honestly think the way that Chernobog's vision works, and of course, this is just speculation here, but I could see Chernobog just kind of like being an all-seeing thing where it's like, no matter what the eyes are, it's like he can just see everything, right? Like, like you don't need the eyes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
the eyes are just kind of part of the design.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Jack Skellington. He doesn't have eyes, but he still sees.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. That's a very good point.
Right. Fine. Let me nail this, Nante. I need this worded from you. I need to be specific. Okay. So tell me, with Chernobog, does he emerge from the mountain?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he's landlocked. I don't mean landlocked. I mean, I know he can fly. He can get out of the mountain. I'm saying, but he rests in that. He dwells in that mountain, in that area from night of all night. You're saying that officially.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, his
okay. With that said,
it makes it look like he's the top. He's in. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that. By the way, has the lifeline ran out, or can we continue? Or
I mean, you technically haven't called in yours.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying I'm still just going without mine at the moment. But I mean, we can. Anyway,
I'm fine with the lifeline. Like I got the help. I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's back to being mono and mono. It's all
right. Yeah.
You can still technically use yours if you need it.
I'll keep it in mind. All right, so here's what I'm going to argue. So now we've established that he's in the same location as Bald Mountain. Let's remember Chernobog's weakness. It's Ave Maria and it's church bells, correct?
Sure.
Ave Maria, bells, and basically sunlight.
Yes. I'm going to say this. If we're in the same area, Hercules can use the church bells to ward him off, kind of like the Venom symbiote almost. I'm saying as an example, using bells against the villains. I mean, he can use that definitely to.
Okay, I have a couple points. To that. I don't necessarily know how familiar Hercules would be with that whole part of Chernobog. It's kind of up for debate. I don't know if he'd just instantly go for the bells, right? Like, I could see the sunlight being more, but with the bells, like, Hercules would have to physically, like, track down the Ave Maria church. It just seems like a lot of work.
All right, let me throw this at you then. So, okay, well, again, we established there's an aerial fight at a certain point. There's an aerial fight, so basically they are.
To be honest with you, I'm picturing most of this fight being aerial.
Well, sure. I mean, at some point, I'm sure Hercules is going to take it to the ground level. You have to realize there's going to be dodging things in midair, being thrown at him. Once Hercules is on the ground, by the way, I'm going to throw it. Literally throws at you. The minute Chernobog going to throw something to him, once he's on the ground, he's going to take and kind of pull like a Spider-Man from Civil War. He's going to throw it right back at him.
Wait,
he's going to play Kit. Like Spider-Man.
I see what you're saying. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, from Civil. Yeah, did I say Civil War? I say Homecoming.
You said Civil War. You're fine.
Yeah, in Civil War. And so I'm saying that's like a way you can deflect that. I just want to get that in because that was mentioned earlier. So you do that. And the point is, while this fight is they've been traveling, going on the ground. I think it's safe to say, like at some certain point in the battle, he's going to be like, if he gets Hercules in the palm of his hands, which won't kill him, because again, he's been in the grasp of other bigger things and with his with his strength. And
I wouldn't necessarily say that he's been in the grasp of bigger things, because we've already kind of been over the semantics of Chernobog's size.
And I told you again, the Cyclops is approximately the same size as Chernobog.
I'm sorry, that's right. We did kind of establish that. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to say this, and as we saw, I mean, the big guys of that stature, like the Cyclops. I'm not saying entirely that Chernobog is a Cyclops. I'm just saying, being with a huge thing, they're going to throw you a couple times. There's a good chance of that. So I'm going to say this in the midst of the battle. You're going to trail with distance. I'm going to say, I think it's first. If he's throwing him, then there's a chance he could hit him in like a high structure, which would be the church bells, in which that them going off would I would reveal the weakness, to which he would then use and bang it a few times, and kind of definitely hurt Chernobog that way.
Let me talk about the sunlight thing though. All
right, go on.
Chernobog would literally just go into sleep mode.
So
he'd turn himself back into the mountain. So if the sunlight thing happens, he would just go into church mode and turn himself, into the mountain mode. Like he'd fold his wings up and he'd just be in total defense mode until nighttime again.
Well, and I'm sorry, go on, please go on.
No, I'm just saying, I could picture Hercules just trying to fight him when he's in that position, but I don't think Hercules is going to get very far with it, because as we've already kind of established, Chernobog is just like an evil, he's you can't really physically touch him all that much. It's going to have to be in the midst of the fight that he's going to have to somehow cleverly defeat him. So if Chernobog's just in that kind of defense mechanism mode on the mountain, there's not really going to be much that Hercules can do besides just wait it out.
Well, again, we have a lot of his guesswork, Chernobog, in terms of how physical he is, because he's touching those guys and he's throwing them in the fire and stuff. So I mean, there's a suggestion you could actually physically touch the guy.
Okay. Well, no. Hold on. No. I don't stand by that.
What do you mean?
I don't stand by that, because the spirits that we're seeing in the Bald Mountain cartoon, it's they are also ghosts. They're not physical beings, so that holds no water for me.
Well, I'm gonna say this: the demons, though. So we have ghosts, we have fire spirits, and we have demons, right?
I think that all of the things that pop up are kind of in that same sort of vein of being just not necessarily of the physical realm, being more the metaphysical, spiritual, demon realm.
Well, pain and panic are physicalized demons you can reach out and touch.
Yeah, but it's these with the things we see on the Bald Mountain are mostly ghosts.
Mostly, but again, there are a few fully kind of fleshed out and colored in demons, which do seem like they are physical and you can touch them. He's creating ghosts, and the stuff made out of fire. Those are the ghosts. Those are again.
No, it also we just see ghosts rise from the grave too. That's a big part of the opening of the short.
Well, I'm just saying, with the ones that do seem fully colored and physicalized, I'm saying there are at least some of them that can be touched, which suggests that there is some connective tissue there. He is dropping freedom in the fire, which then turns them into spirits.
Mm-hmm.
He drops he takes the guys dancing around, they hold him in their hand. Oh, look, my little buddies here. Drops them.
But as I said, if we're gonna get into the semantics of if the Chernobog is a physical person or not, is a physical being, I think that exact same kind of argument could be made of the spawn he's creating. Literally what he's creating is spawns of himself. So if you're going to roll over and agree with me that, Chernobog might not be a physical being, then you can't just say, he's not a physical being, but the demons he conjure up are physical.
They're not necessarily from him, because he kills them and then they become spirits.
All right.
Okay.
So let me, let's see real quick. I got, all right, so let's see. There's Hercules into the tower, deflects mode. Okay, so going off of Tiki's thing. So let's say again he needs sun mode. I mean, he needs goes into rest mode. So one, I think that's instantly I'm just saying, but I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep going with it. But one, I think that quite possibly is a defeat because again, he's just not fighting anymore. And I think it's kind of the end of the battle. But let's say just for
No, it's not at all. Like I said, I literally laid out the semantics of why that wouldn't hurt him in battle.
Well, no, that's the end of the battle if he's not fighting anymore.
No, the whole point of the like. Okay, can I get Jacob's clarification on this then?
And right?
Because the whole point of the fight is like to defeat him, right? So it doesn't matter if he retreats and then takes some time to, like I think the whole point is like defeat. So if Chernobog
retreat is a defeat,
if Chernobog goes up into the mountain, and it's not defeat though, he's not physically defeated.
We're not going to do this like tomorrow. I mean, it's in the moment here for like if he defeats him or not.
Jacob, can you please clarify this?
Okay, I mean,
Is going into the mountain as a defense mechanism, like, does that count as Chernobog giving up? Because I clearly don't think it counts as him giving up. I think it counts as him being smart and tactical with the situation.
yeah, but it kind of limits the fight, though.
Well, like I said, this doesn't have to be like a day. Like, this could be like a days-long battle. This could be like an epic like this, because we're basically talking about like the Son of God versus the devil. So a fight like that is not going to be solved in a few hours. A fight like that is going to go on.
Yeah, but I actually will take that as like it's kind of a time to kind of an end to battle here. Like we're not going to get much more out of this argument. You pretty much squeezed everything you can out of these two characters. So
yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the assessment that, like I said, it's him retreating, but it's not him giving up.
Would you like me to entertain a defeat, or do you want to make the ruling?
I kind of just want Jacob to make the ruling at this point.
yeah, I mean, it is going on a little long here. So
Yeah, no, Jacob, I actually think we're doing pretty good in terms of time, so don't worry about that. But
yeah, but you guys are kind of just talking in circles.
no, you're right.
So, and you guys probably won't get much more. Like it's just gonna keep going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you.
Well, he can't actually do the mountain thing after I ripped his wing off in battle, so he's half exposed, possibly
that's a good point.
double exposed. So regardless, and if he has the wings, then Hurry's just going to go up there. If he's recharged, he's going to impale him with the sword with his super strength until he's dead.
Okay,
or
but
possibly
hold on,
just
Dragon.
Cutting through the wings.
Okay, I want to just clarify that Jacob literally just said the fight is over, and then Dragon added more points, so I don't even think those points Dragon added should count. Just in the name of fairness.
Well, we didn't hear the bell.
okay. There we go.
I still don't think those points should count, but I'll let Jacob decide that.
All right. Well, and it really does come down to who made the stronger argument for their character,
Mm-hmm.
and made a lot of valid points. So.
Can I just say I'm feeling much more confident about this round than I am about last round?
Yes. Basically, you kind of did. I do have to commend Dragon for going with an interesting choice because basically Tiki did go up against like basically who's ever in like basically the guy who's basically the leader who could basically be in charge of all the Disney villains is basically the most powerful character in the history of the canon.
Mm-hmm.
Which
is exactly why I choose him.
Which is kind of an easy choice, which is kind of why I was weird in choosing him to begin with, but we chose and we went with him anyway. But Dragon, you definitely did give a lot of positive arguments as to why Hercules could be a very formidable foe against even Chernobog. So, but in the end of the overall arguments and strength of characters, I would have to say Tiki did in fact win.
Yes! Ha ha ha! Awesome! Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. I'm very proud of myself for that fight. I thought I was holding my own really well.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, Dragon's a very, very close behind.
No, that was good. That was a very, very good fight, man. That was a lot of fun. All right.
Dragon, you should be proud of yourself too.
I don't get how retreat equals victory, but okay.
I mean, I didn't take into account the retreating.
Basically, I think the reason I won just based on basically for every single thing that Dragon threw at me, I had something to throw back at him.
Yeah, it was
Well, so did I by that logic.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I said that's why it was hard to pick between you guys.
I kind of noticed Dragon. I mean, again, I'm not trying to. I kind of noticed Dragon kind of like some of the points I made would kind of like fluster him a little bit, and with me, I was always very on point. So I don't know.
Admittedly, but admittedly, it's kind of hard to go against Chernobog.
Oh yeah, I admit that. It's
Dragon,
basically the equivalent to using Meta Knight in Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
So Dragon, you did a great job.
I just did better.
All right.
It's not
Okay, well, guys. I mean, we obviously need a few kinks to work out in this.
Yeah,
game.
yeah, for sure. But I'd say this is a good test run.
All right, Dragon. So, Dragon, any last words yourself for you?
No, I'm good.
I mean, I hope you're not upset about.
Dragon's genuinely upset about this.
No. I'm fine.
No. Okay, I mean, as long as you're not like genuinely pissed or anything.
It's all fun and games, man.
Yeah, I know, but I'm glad. I hope you guys all had fun here. I mean, it was a lot of fun listening to you guys talk back and forth about this.
I will admit I was not having a lot of fun in the first round because I was just hopelessly unprepared for it. So that first round was just me like just flying by the seat of my pants. But once it got to Chernobog, I actually had some stuff prepared for Chernobog. So
I was honestly surprised at how the second round went. I was expecting a lot from this battle, and you guys definitely didn't disappoint.
Yeah, it was great. Okay.
All right, so I guess that's all for tonight, folks. Hopefully we can bring this game back soon with some more questions.
I'd like this to be a once a month thing, like Disney Debates. I think it suits that. If I'm the network who's picking up this pilot, Jacob, I would say you are picked up for a series.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, thank you to Dragon for helping me flesh out this idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah, all right. Well, until next time, folks. See you next time on Disney KO.
Look at him go.